Hey, it's Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD, coming to you live, Facebook Live on this magical Monday. It's been a while. I haven't recorded. I haven't had a live broadcast in, oh my goodness, maybe over a month now. So I also have to admit something that I'm kind of doing this for selfish reasons. Because there's been a lot of changes in Facebook, and there aren't as many people who see my content, who view my my live videos. But guess what? This is about me. I do these magical broadcasts just as much for you as I do for me, and that's because I want to get my week off to on a good start, on the right footing. And I know as a doctor, and what I've learned in actually 30 years of practice is that what gets people sick and what keeps them well is really our ability to manage the challenges of everyday life. And that's so difficult for so many of us. And guess what? Our ability to remain balanced allows us to stay healthy. And I view myself as a holistic doctor. And that's because I value mind, body, and spirit equally. That's true holistic. Well, yes, we think of holistic doctors if they give vitamins, or they do some integrative alternative different therapies. But guess what? My view of holistic medicine, holistic approach to life, is really that balance, achieving that balance in mind, body, and spirit. And when one of those goes awry, it throws everything off. And what I'd like to talk to you today about is faith. What do we believe in? What do we have faith in? And when we say we believe in something, maybe something greater than ourselves, as I do, some of you, as I do, call that something else God. But what do you believe in? What do you have faith in? But not even so much of the faith and belief. But if you do have faith and you do believe, do you trust? Do you have that trust? And that is more important than the belief. So chime in. Let me know where you're from, how long you've been viewing CoachMD, and what, if you have any comments for me, if you have anything you'd like to see or like to hear. And what I'd like to do now is share with you a story about a doctor. And this doctor was really stressed out. This doctor was seeing 40, 50 patients a day. And it was on one Monday, he went in to see a patient after the last patient of the day. Was crazy busy, 50th patient of the day. And he went in there and he said, look, thank you for your patience. And she wanted to hear nothing of it. In fact, he never even got another word out, and he didn't even get to see her and know even why she was there. She yelled and screamed, oh my goodness, my time is precious. My time is just as valuable as your time. And that day when he went home, he was just so distraught. A week later, another Monday, another kind of similar scenario. The office was crazy, people yelling and screaming. And that day, he did go home. And that day, he was in tears. It affected him so greatly. He didn't know what he was going to do. And this is a scenario of many doctors all over the United States mainly. Well, a couple days later, he saw an article about a new type of practice that was called a concierge practice. And 10 months after he saw that article, he became the 9th doctor in the United States to start such a practice. That doctor was very brave, actually. And that doctor, in case you haven't guessed, it was me. That was 16 years ago that I made that. It was when I say brave, it was a big risk. 16 years ago, I had 4 children, all under the age of, I think, 8 at the time. We had just moved into a new house, and we had a huge practice, but that practice might have been great in numbers, but was very stressful. And honestly, the revenues from that huge practice, somebody joked around with me at one time, said to me, hey Charles, if I could invest, I'd invest in your practice, because it seemed like it was thriving. But it wasn't. It was not only economically wasn't it thriving, but personally, emotionally it was not thriving. And it was grating on it. So I took the risk to start a concierge practice, and overnight our practice went from we had 12, and I say we because I had an associate, we were the 9th and 10th doctors in the United States to do this. Our practice went from 12,000 charts or patients to 50 overnight. And if you thought that I was stressed 10 months before that, that really made me stressed. It really was very felt very dangerous, really. But what got me through that? Did I sleep that night? The night that we decided that we actually made the transition and we only had 50 patients? Yeah, I slept like a baby. And what allowed me to sleep? What allowed me to sleep was a deep faith. A faith that I had that my intentions were right in what I was doing. And I knew I had the skills. I knew I had the God-given gifts to do this. And with that in mind, I knew that the right things would happen for the right reasons at the right time. But I was scared. In fact, the company that helped us do this, I said that if things didn't turn around, that I would be bankrupt in 8 months. Well, guess what? 16 years later, I'm talking to you, I'm not bankrupt. But that was a fear, of course. But my faith, a deep faith, that I knew that things were going to be okay, and that I knew that my family was going to be okay. But did I sit back and just allow it to happen? No, I put the wheels in motion. And when the wheels are in motion, the right things will happen at the right time for the right reasons. When your intentions are grounded. When your intentions are grounded in faith, but it's not only faith. You have to have a deep trust. You have to have a deep trust in that there's something greater. There is something greater at work. And you have it in you, just like I had it in me, to make it happen and to make it real. So that's what this Magical Monday broadcasts are, to help you get on, to take the steps to live a magical, miraculous life. And those miracles and that magic may not look like anything that you thought it might look like. It may not look like anything you feel you want it to look like. But guess what? It will be right for you. And the right things will happen at the right time. So I would say this week, as you get the week off, as you get started, think about what it is in your life. Is there a risk that you need to take? And I'm not saying I'm not saying give up everything, give up your day job to do that. No, we had it in place, the structure. We had a cushion that allowed us to do this. So you need to evaluate everything. If it's a financial risk, you have to evaluate, do you have the ability to provide all your needs, all your family's needs for this to take place? If that's not the case, put it on the back burner, but keep working toward that. Take little steps each and every day. And what gets me to continue to have that faith, to continue to help me ground in that trust, are those daily magical events that we look for. I call it daily magic. Some people call it a God wink. Some people call it whatever it is, coincidences, okay, of course. But I look for those daily magical occurrences. Now, some are very subtle and some are great, like a phone call that might come in when you really needed to hear it, or you really needed to get a foot in something that you were looking to happen. Those are things that I like to call daily magic, and why I call these Magical Monday broadcasts. And if you really like these broadcasts, if you feel like you want me to keep them going, let me know. I'm going to do it anyway. Again, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, I'm a little self-interested. Now, selfish, different from self-interested, right? Although I did say selfish. But being self-interested, obviously, I do these because talking about it and reaffirming my faith and thinking back to what happened in my life allows me to take away that stress. So if I have a financial stress, let's say, remembering of what happened 16 years ago and how things fell into place, and I'm still standing here alive today, broadcasting live, it helps me. It helps me get over that. It helps me understand and helps me ground me. Not only faith and belief, but trust. And as many of you know, I meditate every day, and my meditation is my prayer. It's a daily prayer. And I meditate to an inner guidance, a guardian angel, if you will. And those of you who have read my book, Brain Drain, know that inner guidance I've been meditating to for many years. And it came to me several months ago, that inspiration. When I end my prayer and I say, I love you, Abe, I love you, God, or Hashem, which is the Jewish, the Hebrew, one of the Hebrew names for God, I got the strong inspiration that said to me, don't love me, trust me. And that's I think, a very good lesson as you go through this week. Love is important, but trust allows you to take action. Trust allows you not to be paralyzed by fear. Trust allows you to be able to take both steps out of that comfort zone instead of having one step in and one step out. So we have that belief, we have that faith, but how often, as always, do we doubt it? Well, I do. I'm just like anyone else, and that's why I really needed to hear that inspiration. And some of you who are more practically minded may say, oh, he's psychotic. What a weird doctor this guy is. And I'm a regular doctor, right? And I knew when I first started writing my book Brain Drain and some of the other books and blogs and writings that I've done, I knew that I was going to make some people think of me a little differently. And that's why I endorsed the idea that vulnerability can be our greatest asset. So as I've made myself more vulnerable, I've realized that more people really trust what I have to say, because I feel, and my family feels, that I'm an authentic person, that I'm sincere. But look, when you hear people getting on their high horse or going on a pedestal and spewing all this stuff and wanting and trying to get followers and all this, you kind of take a step back and say, what's this really about? Who's this really about? And that's why I think it's very important to stay grounded and to be vulnerable, to be honest and sincere. There's a place for that, and there's a place not for that, of course. Sometimes you really can't be vulnerable. You have to be strong, but you can also be strong. Vulnerability can make you very strong, actually. And that's an important lesson to keep in mind when you go forward this week, and when you jump out of that comfort zone, both feet forward, and you have that trust that you're doing the right thing, and that the right things are going to happen at the right time, and you're going to be taken care of just enough. You may not have everything you want, but you'll have everything you need. The wants will come later. The needs you will get. And I learned that, and I keep reminding myself of how I trusted so deeply 16 or so years ago. And it transformed my life, certainly transformed my family's life, and it allowed me to branch out, not only, and some of you who don't know what that kind of special practice, a concierge practice, a lot of people view it as an elitist practice where people pay a doctor more just so they can be their personal doctor. Well, that allowed me to be a real doctor for the first time that I had since I've been a practicing doctor. But it also allowed me to branch out. It also allowed me to have time to do writing and to do other things, and also to have more time with my family and to be truly present with them, and also to be present now with other people, because if I didn't have this other practice, I'd be still hitting that grindstone. I just don't know what I would be like. I mean, I feel I'm healthier. I know I'm healthier. I know I'm aging gracefully. I don't know where my life or how I would have been if I hadn't made that change 16 years ago. So think of where you are right now. Think of certainly the needs that you need to provide for yourself and your family. But then think about what it is that you'd like to do that you know can provide for food, clothing, and shelter when you get there, and also may actually translate into some wants as well. And think about what it's going to feel like when you take 2 feet in to trust. So as you go forward, look for those magical coincidences to reassure you in your belief, in your faith, but remember to trust in the process. Well, I hope you found this valuable, and I'd like you to share it with others if you can. Again, if you do, great. If not, that's okay too, because this helps me just the same, just putting it out there and reaffirming my faith and my trust. And I do have an ebook, Fake News Stories by Your Brain, which I think you'd like. Look for that, download that. That'll also give me your email, because I plan to put these videos and send them out as emails, as well as some blogs and other content from other people who I really respect, who I'd like to share with you. So until next time, I'm Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD. I love you. I appreciate your listening. Until next time, God bless. Bye for now.